Hey, what's up, everybody? It's KyFy, and I'm glad you could be here again. I have a great reading for you today. It's going to be one of my first full moon readings, so I hope it resonates with you. If you like the video, if you like the content, give me a like, a subscribe. I hope the reading is good enough for you to want to circulate it. I'm trying to get out there, and I got a good thing for all readers in the spiritual community. So here we go with it. I'll welcome you, the Zin-Finity Board. Alright, so this is my baby, it's my beauty. Basically, if you can understand what you see here, you have some squares, basically where the card goes, and tags on it. And for you as a Q&A, every tag is going to have, well, there are 10 of them, plus 4 environment cards. But those are described and defined by the oracle card. So besides those 4, you have 10 question and answer type spaces that you can go ahead during this reading and answer and question for yourself. So we're going to get down to it. I'm going to take a little bit of time to get these cards down, but I'm going to speed it up. So just give me one moment. Alright, so we got a lot to talk about because this is the new moon reading, and the new moon came out in the place of your mind. So your mind is on what's hidden, what is meant for you to know right now, and what is coming towards you. Also, you have a karmic path in your place of the physical place. You're basically your physical world, your body, your temple, and things like that, the things you can use. Has to do with your karmic past. So what have you been doing that leads you down a road where you can't escape right now? So that's what's coming up to me right now. But leading down that road, your spirit is guiding you with safe travel in the spirit location. So what does that mean right now? So if you feel like you won't have the energy towards it, you do. And it's all you need is a little bit of faith to basically get that energy, that strength. So moving on, we have in the world of emanation, which is this triangle right here, we have good fortune. And it's always good to have fortune when it comes up to what you emanate, what you imagine, and what you create. So fortunate ideas are headed towards you. When it comes up to writer's block and things like that, the ideas are going to be coming towards you, because the idea behind this is the tree of life and the philosopher's stone. I put those together and I formed something called the Zin-Finity Board. What you do here is you go up and down the tree, as long as you want to, for as many times as you need to. And every time you do it, you unblock the channel. So you understand that the tree of life has chakras and things like that, and also paths and many different things. But the idea is, if from the crown to the root is unblocked, you can use that energy for your manifestations. So that's what we're trying to get down to right now. So what actually happened here is a bunch of cards are off suit, and I'm going to explain it right now, starting from the root. We have the King of Cups. This should be Earth, right? This is the root chakra, Malkut, right? It should be Earth, and I'm going to put it this way. So you're very emotional in a place where you need to have something of substance to use. So high energy, high emotions can leave you unfocused. That's what it's giving me right now. You're not focused on the things that will benefit you. You're focused on the things that leave you emotional or give you emotional benefits, right? Not necessarily things that are gonna, be those building blocks for your dream. So moving on from there, in the place where you need to have a lot of water, you have the Sun card. So this is also off. Even though this is a good card to have, your image, so that's the word that came up, your image is blocking what you feel from coming out. So let's just say if you are faking it in a place that you're not supposed to be, your image is blocking who you are, and maybe shifting spaces or shifting roles might be the place for you. It might be the position for you. So if that's been in your mind, you've been thinking about it, it's off. Your emotions are kind of off. You know what you're feeling, but you don't know how to switch it. So let's get to it. Going from there, that was the Yesod, the sacral chakra. Going from there, we have the Fourth Cup, which is also off suit, right? Everything is just off today because the new moon is here. You think you had it correct, and when the revelation comes, sometimes the epiphany happens. That feeling of, oh, I never believed, I never thought that this would happen. Oh, this is the reason. That answer is coming towards you, and even if you did have that answer, this, when it comes to the solar plexus, this is a place of fire and it's water here. So these two roles are being reversed. On the Zin-Finity Board, they're not cards anymore. They're actual personas playing roles. And when they play the roles designated, if they're not on suit, you can understand when they're not fit for the role. So even though if this is a good card, it doesn't matter. We're going to figure out why later. So going on from there, we have Tiferet, which is the heart chakra, right? The heart chakra is ruled by the Five of Cups. This is not air. So you can understand your inner world, the world that you see around you, the closest things towards you, the things that you create are not in your control. There's a lack of control happening right now. Like I said, we're going to talk about it. Next up, going up, what we're doing right now is going up the tree of life to see what's blocked. So when we come back down, we're going to fix some of these problems. But as we go back down, we're going to go get to the answers. So this is all prerequisite information about what's happening right now. Basically the details to the setting. But when I get to the major, when I get to the oracle cards, it'll give me your environment, what's around you, and what's benefiting you, what's not benefiting you. It'll give me an idea after I get these details. So moving on from there, we have the Six of Pentacles at Geburah, which is your head of desire, right? Now, this is also off suit. Earth and fire are supposed to be on this side. Air and water are supposed to be on this side. When you see these elements opposite of where they should be, you can understand that either the spirit has too much control or the ego has too much control. So why does that even not make sense? Why should spirit not have all the control? Because it's an energy also. It's a spiritual energy. You use too much spiritual energy, you're stagnant because you're not actually using the actions. Spirit runs with magnetism. So you're basically calling it towards you. Too much calling it towards you is no action with the thing that you already got. So it works hand in hand. The action and the passion go hand in hand. Yeah. So next up, we have the Queen of Swords. This is also off suit because, like I said, air should be on this side. Now, when it comes to desire and will, again, these, if they were opposite, this would be in balance, but it's not. So there's a common theme that's happening so far. It's like your life was either going to be shifted upside down, or there's some kind of tower moment that's going to kind of push everything upside down for you to see it differently. Maybe you need to see the worst of everything first before you get to the best of everything, because you'll know how to keep it and you know how to nurture it. So yeah, let's move on from there. We'll get into this. Okay, let me continue. When it comes up to the third eye, right, we have the light and the dark. Now this is governed by the 5 of Swords on the light side, which is off, and the Page of Pentacles on the dark side, which is also off. So we can see, literally, if I mirrored this, maybe somebody's mirroring you, or the devil, or the energy that doesn't want you to see who you are is mirroring the worst of you. So you'll only see the worst of you and not acknowledge the best that comes after that. Because sometimes you need to go through the worst to see what's good in it, right? We've all been programmed for a certain amount of time, and all of that is in there, and it's all, not all, there are a lot of gems in what we know and what we've been through. So these things come together and they form ideas in your head to say, okay, I can do this to help people, I can do this to help myself. It comes in different ways, but when it comes up to your discernment on it, it's mirrored. So you're thinking backwards in what you should be thinking for your dream. This is a reading about fantasy. And the difference between a fantasy and a dream is the dream is given to you by, or translated to you by spirit and your emotions and things like that. But your fantasy is kind of you create from everything that you've been through and what you know currently, consciously, right? So there's a difference in your dream and your fantasy. Your fantasy might not be the thing you should be going towards, but that's the thing you can see. And that's also what the devil is putting in front of you. So you got to think about it. Going within, you can hear and feel spirit and feel out what you truly came here for. Yeah. So yeah. From there we have Da'at, which is basically the throat chakra, right? These desire, will, and Da'at, or I should say Chesed, Gebudah, and Da'at, right, are the 3 pieces of Akasha or ether or the throat chakra, right? So those are those 3 pieces. And this is also offsuit, and I'm gonna explain why. This is your place of knowing, and it should be more passionate and more thought. But this is a blockage, but it apparently is a godly blockage. It's something that you should not know right now, because if you had known it, you would have taken a step too early. So what is that saying? Rejection is protection. That's what's coming up right now. So that even annoys me. That even annoys me. So yeah, we're on the same boat. Rejection is protection. Going from there, we have what crowns the reading, which is the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups can be any card. It's in the middle, right? It's in the middle of all elements. But when you think of emanation, right, this is in a place of fire, and it should be fire. But even though it's not, this is your essential nature and who you are and what anchors you to basically yourself, your well-being, what you truly came here for, or the one in charge, the master of it all, the one that you haven't become yet, and the one, yeah, I can move on from here. So I'm gonna actually put it this way: everything is off. Like I said, mirroring is gonna be the common factor in this reading. So I'm gonna take a little bit of time to fix some of these cards. Hopefully it'll come out smoothly, but we'll never know. I'm gonna shuffle it a little bit and let me get back to you. All right. So basically, what just happened? If you taking a look at it, every card was off. So what I like to do is clarify with a card that could basically clear the energy. If it's supposed to be fire, now it's fire. If it's supposed to be air, water, earth, now it's air, water, earth. Same difference. So I did down the line, and I went from the crown to the root. So first thing that I noticed, the first thing that I was actually off and wasn't able to really change that quickly was the will. So when it comes up to your will, it started off with the Queen of Wands. This is you in your energy, you in your mental space, in a place where you should be using things. So let's just imagine that there's a magic going on where you think something is happening, but it's actually not. So you can't think it, you have to do actions towards it. So thinking it, no matter how good it is, no matter how good the thought is, some actions need to be done. So that was the first blockage when it comes up to your will. The second thing that wasn't able to be finished before I got to 6 cards, right, was your root. So this is basically the area of fear. So when it comes to your fear and your will, and it makes sense. So if you are scared, you won't be able to actually do some of the things. So what is it about that? What is it about what you want to do that leaves you in a state of fear? What is it about what you're currently going through that leaves you in that state of fear? So you can ask this in many different ways. So let's get down to the actual clarification of the cards right now. Starting off with the crown, we have, well, this is numbered from 0 to 9, and it has 4 placements for the oracle cards. So I'm gonna go from 0 to the 9, then read the oracles. Then we're gonna have the star stream, which is basically talking about the experimentation, expression, integration, and transcendence when it comes up to your self-mastery. So here we go with that. First up is the Eye, which is started off with the King, Ace of Pentacles. This is in your place of knowing. So the question is that you ask yourself is, although I know what I know, what is it about what I know that stops me from going forward? So let's just say that if you wanted to go skydiving, you know that it is some fears behind it, but you also understand that people have done it before, so there's some kind of safety towards it. People keep doing this. What is it about it that leaves them in a sense of safety? How can they be prepared? What prepares them for that kind of journey? So this is the thing that when it comes up to what you're doing, there are ways for you to be protected. There are ways for you to protect yourself and not just rely on spirit. So you have to open the door and allow spirit to help protect you also. So giving spirit the access helps as well. Now this is what's blocking your knowing. This is the crazy thing. New opportunities, resources, abundance, prosperity, security, stability, and manifestation. Now why is this blocking you? Because this earth is supposed to be down here, whereas in a place where you can actually use some of the things that are already here. Now this indicates that it's something that isn't created yet that you're using. So there is something that you're using that's not for you to use. If it's not the right car, it's not the right car. If it's not the right tool, you're trying to shovel, but you're using a rake, it just won't work, right? It won't work properly. It'll take forever. Will you even get the job done? There are certain tools for the job, and this is not the place to think, but like, oh, that's for me. Like you weren't supposed to create it out of thin air. Like you weren't supposed to manifest it. Like it wasn't the first of its kind here. So maybe what it is that you're doing doesn't have a guide towards it, and you're waiting for some kind of abundance. But the thing is, when the second card came down, it's the 10 of Wands. Now this is fire and air, which means that this location could be either one of those, and it ends off with the fire. Now this is taking all of your pain and troubles and the things that you think that you were supposed to take with you on the next journey, Can't even talk. It's crazy. So the 10 of Wands, right? Burden, responsibility, duty, stress, obligation, burnout, and struggles. Now you understand that this is a certain of type of energy that you need to hold in order to manifest. Just to manifest, you need to have a certain kind of, okay, I'm good with what's happening with me right now. I'm good with the situation because I know I'm getting through it. I'm good currently, so therefore what I know can only benefit me. It's not going to, let me read it. The 10 of Wands represents burden, responsibility, and service to others. This card often shows up when the asker feels worn down by stress and expectations placed on them by others or themselves. So just because you know something works doesn't mean it's supposed to work for you the same way, right? Just because you have ice skates or just because you dribble a basketball doesn't mean you're going to be the best one out there. It requires a certain amount of skill, height, weight, length, agility. You know, some people aren't the right shape for it. You just can't do it the way other people can do it. It's just not meant for you. But what's meant for you is going to fit like a glove. So it's natural. So follow the natural things that comes out of your thoughts. Now that's what you know. What crowns the reading is your essential nature. And it started off with the King of Cups, right? And I wanted to finish it off with some fire, and it did. And it ended off with the 7 of Wands. So let me get it. Let me get the King of Cups really quickly. So wise, diplomatic, balanced, head of heart, devoted, advisor, and counselor. Now this is your nature. And this is an emotional nature that you carry. So emotionally, you are wise, diplomatic, and balanced-headed in heart. So this means that when people try to trigger you, and that's the reason for this reading. I know you saw the title, but basically, it's called Blessed Triggers. And what does that mean? Every time that there's an energetic response from somebody saying something to you, there's an energetic response. Every time there's something there that you can piece out. What actually happened, what's taking place, why it did it, all the questions that would kind of leave you at peace with what just happened instead of agitated and angry and things like that, and it won over you. There's something that you can do, and that's with the transmutation of that energy. Because what can you do with it? Every emotion is data and an energy towards something, right? There's the energy that keeps it alive, but it's only data of your past and your present, right? Or even what you think the future holds that is guiding you to feel a certain way. So what do I mean by that? In your past, something happened and there was an energetic response anytime somebody brings up that feeling that you had when you were in your past. So now you have an energy towards data, towards history, and you are the actual one that's causing it to come back because you put your energy towards it. So that's what happens during a trigger. Somebody says something to you, you have a past, present, or future idea of how this can hurt, or you know how it runs with you, and then you have either hopefully a response or a reaction to what they said, because you must respond. That energy is very hard for you to hold. The energy is very, I would say, dense or heavy, and it requires some training to even know what to do with it. Now, how would you even use this, like right on a dime, right on the spot? If you are able to hear something that somebody says immediately and say, okay, this person, even though they don't know what they said or they did, triggered something in my past that said, okay, you feel lonely, deserted, and things like that. And now I'm going to respond to this person because they made me feel lonely. They brought it back out of me. You understand? But it's a past emotion. It's the past event that happened. How could it have so much control over this present moment? You gotten through it. and you also have the tools never to go through it again. So how does it affect you? It's like, it's gaslighting, really. But the devil uses people to keep you where you are. So all of this fighting is keeping you in cycles. Get through it, and the devil can't keep you in that same place no more. You learn what you needed to learn, and the devil can't do anything against somebody who knows. So this is you taking all of your knowledge, and this is protection, right? That's what that is. You're learning and knowing that you need to start protecting yourself. So after the King of Cups, we have the Seven of Wands. Protectiveness, standing up for yourself, defending yourself, protecting territory. Now, this is the new part of your essential nature. What you're going to do regardless of anything, you do this in your subconscious. If you're drunk, this is what you're doing. If you're anything, this is what you're doing regardless. This is your AI bot behind your consciousness. This is what you're going to do regardless. You blink, it's doing this, right? That's the idea, right? So standing up for yourself, defending yourself, from protecting territory. What's yours is yours, and nobody's going to take it from you. That's what you turn into. Instead of being emotionally charged and sitting in the same place, more stagnant, you're being more active with it and saying, you know what? This is my domain, this is my right, this is my sovereignty, and I will defend it. Nobody else has the right towards it but you. And you can only give it away. They can't take it from you. So that was the crown energy. And basically, the question that you should have here is with your being. The being of, how should I say? So I basically explain your subconscious actions, but it all comes from basically like your God print. Think of it as a fingerprint that you come down here with, and every fingerprint has their own gifts and their own consciousness and things like that. So as vast, as many as there are fingerprints, the same goes for the types of personalities and gifts that there are in this world, and you have one that nobody else has. So that's the kind of question you need to ask. What is it that I'm supposed to bring to this world? What is it that you're built for? Right? Moving on, we have the third eye. So this comes up to the questions that you need to ask yourself when it comes up to basically your want and your need. Your want has to do with the path, and your need has to do with the energy to get there, right? Or at least the energy to manifest what you need to get there. The energy behind the tool to get there. So if the tool requires electricity, the electricity comes from the spirit, and it powers the tool, which is you, your temple, to do the work that you came here to do. So it's a circulation going on. So starting off with the light side is we have the Five of Swords, and it ended off with the Page of Pentacles. So too much in your mind in a place where you need to go forward. So this is hesitant. You're being very hesitant, and I don't know what that means right now. So let me just see. With the Page of Pentacles, that's foundational and that's sturdy. And that's honestly a little bit immature, but it's fine though, because baby steps. This is how you get there. So Five of Swords. This is funny. This is somebody standing in your way completely. Arguments, disputes, aggression, bullying, intimidation, conflict, hostility, and stress. The devil uses anything and anyone around you to stop you when you're on your path, and especially when you're in the zone. If you're in the zone, you got things coming at you left and right, mainly because you see all the attacks. You're gifted to see it, so therefore you do see all of the attacks. And now it's given a sense of pressure, like, why should I learn about everything that's attacking me? Because you need to be ready for it. It's something that you need to do, right? But if somebody's blocking your way, the only thing that you can do is kind of build your way around it. Think of a new plan. Think of a new plan of attack. So going on with the dark side of the third eye, Bina, we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. Now, this is the Page of Pentacles here, and it's the Page of Pentacles here. Remember how I said that mirror image, the part of you that you didn't discover yet, that works subconsciously? That's what I got just now. That works subconsciously for your benefit. And it only requires you to see a little bit differently. This is almost like having a bad hand in any card game, right? Next thing you know, that bad hand has some benefits, and that's what you just realized about your current condition. There is a benefit in where you are, and it's almost perfect if you can only just grasp it and claim it, right? So next up, from there you went over to the Six of Pentacles, and it ended off with the Justice card. So the Justice is the air, right? So that finished off the energy required in this area. The element is good. So starting off with the Page of Pentacles again, let's go back to it. So ambitious, diligent, goal-oriented, planner, consistent, star student, studious, grounded, loyal, faithful, and dependable. Now the reason why it isn't good on this side is because it's relying on somebody who's like that. Instead of you being the person that fuels it and that does it, you're relying on other people to do it for you. Now, this is you taking up your own cross in a sense and doing your own work. And when you decided to do that, the next thing is up and move on to this side. You weren't afraid to challenge yourself, and you became ambitious, diligent, goal-oriented, a good planner. I was just talking about planning. Consistent, star student, studious, grounded, loyal, faithful, and dependable. Now, star student is a little bit different because you need to be teachable at every step of the journey. No matter how much you think you know, the person that you think is slow knows something more than you. Doesn't matter who you are. Everybody knows something. Everybody knows something. Everybody lives a life that you know nothing about. Alright, so that's what started on this side. Going to the Six of Pentacles, we have... hold on. So, all that diligent work brought generosity, charity, community, material help, support, sharing, giving, and receiving gratitude. So, again, this is earth energy, and it's supposed to be on the side that you can actually do something with it. Now, because it's here, it's a blockage, and this is a spiritual blockage. So, this is a material spiritual blockage, I just heard. What you think is for you, it's only stopping the energy, the flow. So it's almost like, imagine there's a two-step, and for some reason, you are over here doing the waltz. You just flow with the situation. Sometimes it'll lead you to the right path because you are not resistant to God also. Just because you expect God, and He does work in your favor in your life, doesn't mean that you don't block God's blessings at the same time as you're blocking the devil's blessings. Right? Well, not the devil's blessings. That's OD. Or the devil's attacks towards you. You can block both of them. So you have to have discernment. Is this right for me? Don't be afraid to take an opportunity and look around. You can leave. You feel me? Like, you don't have to submit all the way. You can learn everything you need to know about it and come back to it later. It doesn't have to happen all at one shot. So, and went from there, giving and the gratitude, right? This is gratitude. That was gratitude towards somebody else doing it for you. Now, when it comes up to the justice of the situation, when you finally getting the space and the area to go after what you want, right? Now, here's what it says. So, justice, karma, consequence, accountability, law, truth, honesty, integrity, and cause and effect. Saying when things start to balance out, you'll see an influx of whatever, the dark or the light, right? So, if it was too much on the dark side, you'll see an influx of light. If it was too much on the light side, you'll see an influx of dark. Not necessarily negative, but spiritual. Spiritual things start to happen. Or manifestations just start appearing in front of you. Things that you can do, opportunities start coming towards you. That's on the light side. But that's with balancing everything out. If you've noticed how things have shifted very quickly, then that's something you need to pay attention to. Is it more spiritual, or is it more of an ego telling you to do something that you actually need to do? So people think of ego as this bad thing. No, ego is uncontrolled, therefore it's bad. But it's a beautiful servant. So think about that. What can your ego do for you? So moving on to the first of the biggest blockages, which is the will. The will to do it, right? The will to do the thing. And it started with the Queen of Swords, so let me get it. So this is the mental, in a place where it should be something physical to hold or something to do, a rhythm to hold, a rhythm to keep. I hope that makes sense. So honest, independent, principled, fair, providing constructive criticism, objective, and perceptive. Now, she is sitting down on the throne in a place where she needs to be standing up, at least on a horse, getting to some place. Now, this is ordering everything to happen. It's a very big energy of entitlement. And not that you don't deserve what you think that you want. You got to go after it in order to deserve it, even though it's for you. So you still got to work for it to be right for it. So when from there, she got up off her butt to the Knight of Swords. Said, okay, let me try to do something with these thoughts. But the thing is, these are still only thoughts. It's nothing to use. No actions. Put a plan together. These are thoughts for the plan. Little things for the plan. So it's getting into order, right? It went from there to the King of Cups. Now you're a little bit emotional, but still stagnant. Then went from the Page of Swords. Then it went to the Hermit. Now the Hermit ended it off, and it ended off with something actually to use, putting everything else aside besides your light. So there's a sense of focus here that I wanted to just stress really quickly. So going from the Queen of Swords, we have the Knight of Swords. So assertive, direct, impatient, intellectual, daring, focused, perfectionist, and ambitious. This is the ambition before the plan. So like I said before, this is, well, but we didn't get to it yet, but the fear was one thing that was stopping you. And sometimes it requires quick wit and wise actions to get out of a certain situation. So whatever it is that you needed to do is very methodical. Good job at it. And honestly, if you're thinking of something that's very precise and methodical like that, this is the indication to actually do it. But understand that karma is real, and whatever you do is going to be coming back to you tenfold. So be careful. Alright? King, it went from there to the King of Cups. Even though I said it was stagnant, this is water in the place of fire or air. So you can't cook water. It's just going to turn into more air. More mental baggage. So you understand that? So King of Cups. Wise. You see, you're trying to outsmart the situation instead of doing things that, actions speak louder than words. So these words are in your mind trying to outsmart the situation, but just with your smarts, none of your actions. So wise, diplomatic, balanced, head at heart, devoted, advisor, and counselor. Who are you ordering around, or who's ordering you around to do things outside of your nature? Right? And went from there to the Page of Swords. Curious, witty, chatty, communicative, inspired, vigilant, alert, and mental agility, right? Now, this is a mental process here that is honestly more slowed down when it comes up to the Knight. The Knight is very fast-paced and anxious and things like that. You're starting to get a handle of what you need to do when it comes up to the mental aspect. Not everything can be fought just with thoughts alone. And went from there, it ended off and completed itself at the Hermit. So the Hermit is an earth card, and it could be earth or fire in its location. So when you put your thought on yourself, you have self-reflection, introspection, contemplation, withdrawal, solitude, and a search for self. The Hermit is a seeker for the knowledge that comes from within. A lonely wanderer in the path of the night, he searches for that which he can only be gained with long periods of solitude, the inner voice. So that inner voice that comes from you, that comes from here, your knowing, as well as your nature is kind of mixed into itself, that is what the hermit focuses on and decides not to hear anything else that we talked about besides what comes from you. So it's shutting all of the distractions down. It's not letting in any of the mental attacks in, so you can actually get at least a baby step done to see what it's like to live in that life that you dream. Just in the baby steps. Every time you're in the process of the step, that's living the dream. So it's like you're living the dream once you start to go after it. The dreams start at that moment. The fantasy is different. It's like you need a certain amount of things there before you can fantasize. Like, oh, my life is terrible without it, right? Before I get it. But the dream is the struggle in the process towards it, because it'll be worth it at the end. So going from there, we have the Six of Pentacles in the place of desire. Now, this is a little bit off because this is in a place where you need to allow spirit to work. And this is putting something in front of spirit for spirit to go around and try to get you to understand and stop you from doing this, but you think you're doing the right thing, that kind of thing. Thinking that you got it right and only giving scraps out to spirit, you know? Thinking that you know the right way to go and it's only giving you a tiny bit of benefit. But this is in the place of desire, and it ended off with the moon, so it finished there. So let's look at the Six of Pentacles. Generosity, charity, community, material help, support, sharing, giving and receiving, and gratitude. The Six of Pentacles represents financial harmony and charity and generosity. This card suggests the asker has cultivated a positive karma by sharing their abundance with others. Now, you cannot buy your way to your dream. If you can buy your way to your dream, anybody can buy their way to your dream. So it's not something that can be bought. If it would have been done already, if it could have been done already, it would have been done. So that's how you know what you're here to do is special. You don't see it. It's unique. But the thing is, what you're trying to birth it with is not a unique factor. So if you're trying to use a crayon when you need a marker, it will always look a certain kind of way, right? The images come out blurry or the images come out sharp, depending on how your skill. So it ended off with the moon, and let's see what it says. So this is the big energy. This is one of the big energies that's out right now, and this is around the new moon. The new moon is tomorrow for me when I'm recording this. But let's see what it says. Illusion, intuition, uncertainty, confusion, complexity, secrets, unconsciousness. Traditionally, the moon warns of a deceit, lies, dishonesty, and embarrassment, danger, self-depreciation, and lunar fantasies. It said lunar fantasies. So things that you swore you were living for that turned out to be a dud. Like these things that you, like the gas, you really thought that this was something worth living for, but it turned out to be like a right turn. That's all you needed to understand. That's all you needed to see what was for you. Just a little turn, but you were going in the right direction, learning the things that you needed to do for that moment. So you did not waste time. God does, when it's time for you to learn, you'll understand that you've been learning the whole time. There's no such thing as stagnancy. It's something that you're learning at the same time. You think you're being stagnant. You're learning how to move past that heavy energy that was given to you during your life. Nobody else had it. It was given to you. It was your struggle, your pain, and your joy when you get past it. So moving on from there, you have the heart chakra. It started off with the Five of Cups, and then it went to the Three of Wands, then the Queen of Cups, and then I stopped it with the Hangman reversed, because the Hangman is the water, and opposite of water is the air. well, parallel to it is the air. For some reason, God just said stop right there and explain this, so I'll do it. So as far as I'm concerned, this is good. This is the space you need for anything that you want. If you don't have the space for it, you'll never achieve it. So starting off with the Five of Cups. Oh, that's the Five of Swords. I'm bugging. Alright. So, loss, grief, disappointment, sadness, mourning, discontent, and feeling let down. Now, these are energies that keep you kind of moving sluggish and things like that. So, if you needed to hold any kind of pattern, which comes in your solar plexus, you won't have the energy to do it because you're using it to feel down. Or you're in the presence and you're in the moment of releasing that energy in a way that it doesn't benefit you completely. Sometimes you just need to release the energy and it's understandable, but that is energy for you to use. And like I said before, when you piece it out from data to the energy, if you can just understand why it triggered you, everything else is like a state of bliss almost. Like, wow, I figured out why this triggered me, and it will never hurt me like that again in that way no more, because you're learning yourself. You're learning what did it. And that's a beautiful moment because the devil just lost so much power. So went from there to the Three of Wands. Still not correct in this area because it should be air. So momentum, confidence, expansion, growth, foresight, and looking ahead. It feels like you're under contract with somebody else, and the momentum that you're gaining is for somebody else. It won't lead you in the right direction when it comes up to you and what benefits you, because it's almost like it's a bad job. It's almost like it's a bad place to be, to even try what's good for you. Maybe you've been like, let's just move on. Let's move on. It says the meaning of the Three of Wands hints that everything around your plans is going smoothly as you have taken the time to plan your future and are taking steps to turn plans into action. That's what it is. You're taking the steps to turn the plans into action. So everything that you was dreaming of has an actual plan towards it. This is how I see myself getting it. It's taking that form. So once it takes that form, it only requires an amount of energy to keep it up. So next up is the Queen of Cups. So compassion, warmth, kindness, intuition, healing, counseling, and support. Now, water is neutral to air. So the things that you do in your emotional state does affect your mental state. If you're highly emotional, you will have a harder time being mental. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of space there. If you can think about it when it comes up to computers. If you're running a whole bunch of apps on the emotional side because you're feeling down, when it comes up to the program Excel that you need to use for your job, it won't be able to function properly and you won't be able to do anything. It will just keep freezing on you, right? So that's kind of the idea when it comes to that. So Queen of Cups, it represents emotions, femininity, and intuition. This card reminds the asker you to honor their sensitivity and allow themselves to feel the full spectrum of emotions that make up the human experience. So allowing yourself to feel the whole spectrum of emotions gives you an indicator of what to do at a certain time. So let's just say if this emotion left you feeling a 3 out of 10, there's a 3 out of 10 action to make you feel better. Sometimes overshooting it is bad. I don't know why I gave that example. It's not even that clear, but it was for somebody. So, moving on, we have the Hangman reversed in the place of the heart. So, as I said, the opposite, the parallel of this is the air. So, let's see what it says. And I mentioned the Hangman before, seeing it from the other side, the mirror perspective. The perspective of spirit. So the Hangman reverse: stalling, disinterest, stagnation, avoiding sacrifice, standing still, apathy. The reversal meaning of the Hangman card represents a very specific period of time during which you feel as if you are sacrificing a significant amount of time while getting nothing in return. It says new perspectives on love, changes in romantic life, stalling for time, wasted financial sacrifices. So it's really in the direction that you're going. If something is not meant for you, you won't be given to you. You won't obtain it. You won't get it. And that can be also a frustrating yet clear sign from God to do something else, right? Yeah, that's harsh. But moving on, we have the solar plexus, which started off with the Four of Cups. Now this is water in a place of fire. Completely the wrong energy to have there, even though it could be something good behind the card. So let's see. So apathy, contemplation, feeling disconnected, melancholy, boredom, indifference, discontent. See, when it comes up to this Hangman, everything was for no reason. Everything was in vain. And it had you sitting here instead of doing the same things over and over, which is insanity, not giving you the results that you're looking for, right? Now you are forced to sit down and look at everything from an emotional perspective. Say, okay, when I did this, this happened to me, I didn't like it. So the next things that come to you, well, God is saying that you have something special for you to do. And let's see what it says. The Four of Cups represents boredom, self-isolation, and blockage. The asker may currently feel dissatisfied with their routine, unmotivated, or stuck in a rut. So of course you'll be stuck in a rut if it's not for you to do and you keep getting blocked in that direction. Make a right turn, make a left turn, see how far you get with that. Baby steps get you there. It don't matter, you don't have to take the big step. Even though you see the big step, understanding the baby steps will actually get you in that direction, because it's challenging and it's fearful. Why should I even go from this part of the dream if it's not going to work? The belief is shrouded when it's such a big step to make. So going from there, you have the King of Wands. And this energy fixed the area of the solar plexus. Some fire in here. So leadership, vision, big picture, taking control, daring decisions, boldness, and optimism. Believing that whatever you found or whatever that's being revealed to you during this new moon, right, is going to give you that sense of connecting you with your intuition. For me, I just heard full control over what you bring to the table. The table, people want to talk about the table like, oh, what you bring to the table. The table is not owned by any of the parties. The table is the energetic balance in between the parties. It's almost like if this energy was coming this way and this energy was coming this way, the table is made at the middle of those energies. The combining of it creates the table. So both of you make the table. It's not one person that, oh, I made the table, you gotta bring it, no. The table is made from both parties. Both parties created it. It's a consciousness over both of you. That's the table. It has nothing to do with y'all now. Or at least y'all egos. Control it. The table has no room for ego. It's all cooperation on that table. Moving on down to your side, which is the emotions, we have the Sun. So this is fire in a place of where you should be emotional. Even though there's a lot of joy here, why is it not? Oh, okay. This is like a vice, or like, I want to just say drugs. This is like going back to that hit that made you feel good. This is seeing that moment. I already hear it. There's a moment in the past that gave you a certain kind of energy, a certain kind of feeling that you keep running towards. But the thing is, that's an old experience, and every time you go towards it, you get less from it. because it's eventually gonna die out. You're not gonna want to do it no more. So what is there for you now? It brings you a certain time of it brings you to a certain type of anxiousness also, because what else is there for you to have fun with emotionally anyway? So it went from the Sun to the Seven of Swords, and then it ended off correctly with the Three of Cups. So the Sun: happiness, success, optimism, vitality, joy, confidence, and truth. Now this is all wrong when it comes up to the emotional side. Why? Because this is overconfidence and weaponized truth and like trap joy. Oh man, this is like very heavy energy in order to get what you want. Like what is it called? The stakes are high, and every time the price is high. The energetic price is high. That's what I got just now. It takes a toll on your energy just to get a little bit of what you need. So it went from there to the Seven of Swords. So lies, trickery, schemes, strategy, resourcefulness, sneaking, and cunning. Now this is parallel to the air, right? So what that means is you're not being so emotional, you're being more methodical, but the thing is you can't get rid of it, so you're just taking the time to go through it. And that's a good place to be, because you're not scared of the emotion. You're not scared of the pain that you have to go through. And that's one of the biggest steps. Not being afraid of the thing that you have to do in order to be better. You've seen yourself for the first time and you loved it. Somehow for the first time you just seen yourself and loved yourself and said, wow, I would fight for you. Like you looked in the mirror and said, I will fight for you. That's beautiful. Ended off with the Three of Cups. Friendship, community, gatherings, celebrations, group events, and social events. Now this is coming together. Now it's not only people. These are perspectives in your mind that can come together to in union, right? So it's not just people, but if it is people around you, look at them for what they bring, not just to the table in cooperation with you, not just how they benefit you, but for the family of it, the village effect of it. How can I depend on them in the future? Because things change and people change. I think that's all I had to say about that. But it is all in celebration, so it's not something to be worried about. So I don't think it's too heavy in here. So lastly, when it comes up to the chakras, and the first part is the root chakra, which is Malkut. Now this is the place of I am. It had it needed the most work when it comes up to the clarification on the deck right now. It needed the most work. So Knight of Cups, idealistic, charming, artistic, graceful, tactful, diplomatic, mediator, and negotiator. Now, being these things allowed a sense of clay in the situation. Allowed a sense of, I'm going to mold this in a certain way. Not that it's actually functionable right now. It requires a certain amount of time to settle in order for you to use it. So this is a molding phase. Being idealistic allows you to mold the situation. Being charming and graceful and tactful allows you to mold the situation. So, Four of Swords. Rest, relaxation, peace, sanctuary, recuperation, self-protection, and rejuvenation. So, like I said, you needed some time. And during this time, you were figuring some things out. So we kind of went through that already. Let's get to the next one. Now, this is the Five of Wands. Let's see. Now, when I see fire down here, it's a parallel to the earth, right? So when you can't use something, there's something that you can do in the place of it to kind of jump past the fact that you needed the thing, right? So if you needed a car to get to the city, the other way around it, which is the transportation, was the way that you went around about getting there, right? So there are other methods and other things that you can use, actually actions that you can take instead of having the things that you need. Next out came the sun. So before, the sun was over here in the emotional side, and then it came out to the side of the earth. So let's see what it says. Well, we kind of already know what it brings, but put it this way: these are actions that are being revealed to you that are wasting your time. Yeah. And went from there to the strength. Naturally, what happens when you stop wasting your time? Time is the most valuable resource. So when you get the most valuable resource back, of course it's going to increase your strength. Of course it is. So courage, bravery, confidence, compassion, self-confidence, and inner power. That's natural when it comes to the strength card. When you have your time, you have your power. So whatever that you're doing that forces you to lose focus is what you need to focus on to gain your power. Your focus is one of the biggest things that you have to worry about. So 6 of Wands, a lot of fire in this area. It's burning some opportunities, but you had to get down to why you needed to burn these opportunities. You fear success, you fear victory, triumph, rewards, recognition, praise, acclaim, and pride. That's crazy. What is it called? Survivor's remorse? I forgot what it's called. But 6 of Wands represents achievement, public recognition, and self-confidence. This card shows up to remind the asker to fully embrace their gifts, talents, and success. It is okay to allow your light to shine bright, and share your achievements with others in the world. Maybe the effect that you thought you were going to have is not the one that it's actually going to take. So you know how people go viral for no reason? You know how people just say, I never knew that this was going to have that much attention to it. It's one of those things that God just align you with and say, hey, watch this. It's one of those. So it ended off with the High Priestess. It actually didn't end off. The High Priestess is the water card. It should be air. It should be earth in this location, but let's see. So, unconscious intuition, mystery, spirituality, higher power, and inner voice. Now, why is this important here? Like I said before, the focus is on your spirituality. So, when it got to this Hermit card, it said to only focus on yourself and what you can bring, right? When it gets to the High Priestess, it says only listen to yourself and what you needed to hear from your spirit. Because you know how they say God did not give you the spirit of fear. Fear only is designed to stop you and block you. So if you're able to see past the deception, you're going to have movement. And movement brings love and connection. Alright, so for the Oracle cards, I wanted to get the emanation, creation, formation, and the manifestation of the energy right now. So when it comes up to the world of emanation, the fire energy, we have good fortune. Let's see it. No matter what your query, the universe gives you its blessing. This is also a powerful time for manifesting. So ask now for what you want more of in your life. It is granted. Acknowledge the blessings in your life and more will appear. So being grateful for what you have and what is to come allows more to come. So the energy, okay, manifestation works funny, because if you have the energy like you just received it, it's the signal to the universe to give you the thing. So it's almost like you're manipulating how you feel currently in a situation. Like you're seeing yourself right now currently having the thing and being joyful of it and being grateful for it in that present moment. And that's the trigger that allows the universe to say, oh, I don't know why you don't have this thing. It should be here. I don't see it. Let me put it there. The universe is gonna find a way to get you to it. It's almost like it's in error when, I hope you can understand that. So moving on from good fortune, you have safe travel in your spirit, the world of creation. Now this has to do with your spiritual energy, right? A trip, a journey, or even a simple change of scenery is upon you. Meditate on this before you start a new adventure, move to a new home, or take a trip. So this is a compass. This is directional. So maybe there's something about a compass or something about the directions you need to take a second look to. This is also an axis in the Marxist spot. So this is a Norse Viking rune for safe passage on land or sea. It also grants protection for those in the air during astral travel. Alright, so this is a focus on who you are. X marks the spot. I guess Spirit is saying the more you focus on yourself, be a little bit more selfish, but in a righteous way. You have the energy to manifest. So moving on from there is the star of the show today, which is the new moon. And here we go. So, a new beginning, a fresh start, an auspicious time to start new projects. Drawing this card invites you to begin again. Meditate on this at the new moon to bring new energy into your life. Write a list of intentions, dreams, goals, and wishes to support the new direction and invite in inspiration. So, the new moon in earth-based religions is a symbol of new beginnings and fortunate time to plant new seeds for the future. So the new moon is for planting, the waning moon is for harvesting, right? So any ideas that you have, this is the time to start it. That's what it's saying right now. And when it comes to your formation, everything that you've been going through is gonna come to, that's what this is about. Coming full circle. Literally, it's the new moon. The reason for everything that you went through is about to be revealed to you. That's what that is. And in revealing it to you, a lot of things will be cleared up. So lastly, we have the karmic path, which is in the physical. Let's see it. A karmic lesson, learning experience, hard work, perseverance, and structure. A new and valuable lesson is available to you at this time. This moment requires your due diligence. Pay attention to what is being presented to you. Have you been down this road before? Our souls has come to this earth school to learn valuable lessons as beings for the planet. What are you being taught right now? This moment may require hard work, but it will have many long-lasting rewards. You are not being punished, but are gaining tools and experience for living that will be with you for the rest of your life. Alright. So we understand karmic path. Karma's not always bad, because next thing you know, you did something good and the karma that came towards you helped you out in the situation. I like automatic karma. When you see somebody do something bad and you see the karma happen right after it, it's like, it's the most beautiful thing. It's the most beautiful thing. Like, I wish you wouldn't have did that. I really hate that you, oh, see, that's what you get. That's what you get. Automatic karma is beautiful. Automatic karma is beautiful. And if it happens to you, I heard that when automatic karma happens, either it was just time to, or you're so spiritually connected that when you do wrong things, God just got to get the karma out the way so you can just get back to your journey. So he's going to knock you out real quick, put you right back like nothing happened. Be careful what you do. That's kind of the worst thing about knowing. When you know, you can't even take part in what people do. Even though they're doing it towards you, you can do it 10 times, 20 times worse than what they did. But you still can't take part because you know. Sucks. But it's all in growing. It's all in growth. So we'll get there. Alright. So, lastly, what I'm going to do is the star stream. And what does that consist of? Experimentation, expression, and it's gratitude and expression right now. Integration, and transcendence. Now, what does this mean? There's a shape here. It's almost like a Z shape. It starts from here, 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 and then it finishes off at your knowing. So this has to do with leveling up. You experiment with something, you express what it does for you, then you integrate it into your life, and then you transcend it. So let's just say if you learn how to jump, the jumping will do something for you emotionally, and you can get places with this jumping, and you can learn how to jump higher. So that's just one little example. So let's see what you can experiment in your life with so it can level up. Let's see what it can be, right? So we have water in the place of the root chakra, right? What does that mean? So naturally, water will cause it to be muddy. But as I said before, it's more forming, right? It's more clay. So you added clay to some dirt, or we added water to some clay, and look, you have a good mold coming in. So let's see what it says. Emotions, receptivity, and a connection to bodies of water. Drawing this card is a symbol of connecting you to your emotions regarding your question or situation, allowing yourself to be open to any changes of direction, and let the element of water guide you into the right direction. Meditate with this symbol in a body of water, in the bath, or with a vessel of water to help keep the emotions pure and assist you in being more flexible. So you have a way that you believe something should happen, and you have methods that came along with these directions that you were pointed to. So if you would believe that God has a different way, that's enough for God to give you that message. Once the student is ready, the master appears. So what's for you will come towards you with flying the speed of light when it's ready for you. It's really crazy. Sometimes I've known something for years and never knew what I was supposed to do with it. There's certain things I knew about this board that I never knew that I was supposed to put here, and now it's here. I've known these things for years. It all came together, came full circle, and now look at it. So that's with the water and your experimentation, right? What can you do with some of the things around you to be more receptive, right? The second is the expression of gratitude. We talked about this before, and gratitude is the right attitude. I think that's the quote. And it is, because you're basically triggering the universe and saying, I'm grateful even though I don't have everything. So the universe says, you should have everything because you're already grateful. I need to match your energy. The universe is off. It's not supporting you because you believe this so much. That forces the universe to work with you and towards your benefit, because that's the energy. The energy is the beacon, and gratitude is the energy that you need to express. So that's kind of self-explanatory. So moving on to message. Message is in the place of the solar plexus, but it has to do with your rhythms. Now, this is a monarch. This is a moth. I don't think it's a butterfly, but we understand what the stages of the butterfly. So let's get it. A letter, text, email, vision, dream, conversation, music, or some other form of a message is coming regarding your current situation. Be open to receiving it. Meditate on this symbol to draw a message from your ancestors and guides to you at this time. So what is it about a message? Now, sometimes see, that's how I know. Sometimes I get alerts on my phone saying, oh, come watch this video. Randomly. I didn't click it. I didn't ask them to send this to me. I didn't look for that video on my feed, but I was brought right to it. And it has something that I can do. It's not too far off what my skill set is. And that's a message to me that says, hey, if you would just do a little bit of this, maybe there'll be some benefits coming towards you, because I need you to be ready for this certain thing. But it's messages that come in certain different ways. You can get messages on ads on the train station. You can get messages from people watching. You just walking past people on the street and somebody says something in the conversation, you be like, I was just talking about that yesterday. Just little things. Everything could be a message. You never know. Just keep your eye open. It's just one eye you need to really keep open. These two are cloudier than this eye. That's the idea. But last but not least, we have divine masculine, and it is on the area of transcendence. So what is it about the divine masculine that you need to focus on? Divine masculine forms these ideas, emotions into things that you can actually use. So the transmutation of this negativity is what divine masculine is talking about. Once you do that, you have the space available to you to roam freely, to do whatever you want. Sometimes getting rid of something allows a space for something new. Most of the time, God has to take this stuff away from us because we hold on so tightly. But what if you can give it to God? Imagine how fast it will come towards you, because there's a void in your life. God wants to fill that void, especially if you give it away first. It's a different message you're giving God. But yeah, divine masculine. So the divine masculine is the embodiment of logic, direct action, and strength. In his most evolved aspect, he represents the builder, the protector, and the guardian. Drawing this card can symbolize that the divine masculine energy is needed to balance your current situation. It can also represent father, brother healing, and the healing of relationships with the divine masculine in your life. So every person has divine masculine and feminine in them. So when there's a unity of these two, the feminine holds all the emotions, right? The emotions is energy and motion. So if it was high emotion, especially if it was negative emotion, right? It was all meant for you to use, because there was a trigger and then there was an energy. Separating these two allows you to claim the energy. So with all that said and done, I hope you had a great reading with me. I hope you were able to get something in this reading. I hope you were able to get a new perspective, because that was my goal. If you can see differently, you'll move differently. And with all that said, I'm KyFy. Peace.